Hey guys, I've got a bit of an oddity for you today. It's time for a look at the PlayStation 2 with a weird kids game called Strawberry Shortcake. The PlayStation 2 was a titan of the console world, selling almost 156 million units during its 13-year production run. It eclipses every other console, and it did this by catering to every group it was possible to market to, including very, very young children for whom it acted as a gateway into gaming. Strawberry Shortcake is a character who came from greeting cards in the 1970s and exploded into popularity with a bunch of dolls and a weird 1980s cartoon to promote them, followed by a revamp of the dolls in 1991 by THQ, whom you may know better as the producers of 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand, and a load of wrestling games. Anyway, Strawberry Shortcake was revamped in the early 2000s because apparently this franchise resurrects itself on a 10-year cycle and can never die. During the 2000s resurrection, the Game Factory grabbed the chance to make a PlayStation 2 game based on the reboot of the franchise. The game is targeted directly at those very young children for whom the PS2 was their introduction to games consoles. As a result, the game is bright, colourful, inoffensive, and exceptionally simple to play. Let's take a look at it. At first glance, this is a rather pretty game. It launched during the height of the PS2's popularity and takes advantage of all the coding knowledge that has been put together for the PlayStation 2 by this point. It looks great, and it controls rather well too. You initially play as Strawberry Shortcake, but her friends can be unlocked as you play by collecting enough seeds, yes, those shiny pink blobs are apparently seeds, and then buying the character that you want from a garden zone that you can visit after each level. Here, you can also unlock a few other items, but they don't really affect gameplay, and all of that is aesthetic, so if you're just here to have a quick run through the game, you don't need to worry about any of this. Well, I say a quick run through, but the fact is, this game is pretty long. Comparable to something like Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. These kids' games aren't treating the children who own them like fools, I'll grant them that. There are a lot of levels to play through, even if the gameplay doesn't change all that much. The basic gameplay is simple. You need to collect the berries, avoid the enemies, and solve some rudimentary puzzles in order to get from one side of the level to the other. The game is aimed at very young children, so don't expect it to tax your brain too much if you come to it as an adult. Although it looks like it's a 3D game, it isn't. It's almost entirely 2D, save for some limited sections where you enter a secondary 2D section for a while. You move left and right on a linear plane, and the camera will occasionally turn to present a different section of the map in the same linear fashion. It's a little jarring at first, especially because the game looks like it should be more free roaming than it is, but as I keep saying, this is for very young children, so don't expect it to give you more than it thinks those very young children can cope with. Occasionally, the game will mix things up a bit. There's a nice 3D section where you're flying a ship and you need to avoid obstacles. That was a refreshing change. It doesn't last long, however, and then it goes back to the standard linear gameplay. But at least it's there, and it's nice to have a bit of a change of pace. All in all, this isn't a game that will tax anyone unless you are very young, very drunk, or only half awake when you play it. It's bright, it's colourful, it's presented in a decent manner, and it works. As an introductory game to get young kids interested in console gaming, I think this one will work out quite nicely. For everyone else, there's no challenge here, and you'd be better off playing something else. Okay guys, I can't say this one's one that I can recommend. It's good if you've got very young children, especially if you've got very young children who aren't really familiar with how platformers and action games work, because this is a pretty good introduction for them, but for everyone else, there's not a lot here that will keep you going. It's definitely one for kids, especially very young kids. So, in that circumstance, yeah, that's great. For everyone else, go somewhere else because this will not hold your attention. But there we are. It's very nicely presented, but there's not much here to keep you going. So, thank you very much for watching anyway. I hope you did like this, and if you did, remember to click that like button, share it with your friends so they'll know a good game, or in this case, a game, when they see it, and do subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. But until then, I've been Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching GameHammer Dailies on the Not Mouse channel, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you liked today's video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you.